in this video, we'll go ahead and discuss how to set up multiple locations, zones, or even stores. Okay, so when you set up a form, you can go ahead and go under industries, and under each form, you can go ahead and set up your locations. So by default, we put in one location at the moment, which is New York. If you want to delete that or modify that, you could do so. And then if you want to add a new one, you go ahead and click over here. And now how this works is basically if you have a service area that you serve, it could be, you know, a city, a neighboring city, or it could be a different state, or it could be even a country. So if you're, let's give a couple examples. So if you are a tutor, you might be doing some kind of online courses, and you could have one of your service areas could be the entire United States or something like that, so that you could go ahead and charge different prices even for that country if you wanted to, versus let's say Europe or something like that if you do the entire Europe. With the other industries, like let's say home cleaning, you could do a city that's right next to another city and do zip codes from one city and call that zone A, or even the city name, and it might have different providers that go there versus the other neighboring city next to it. Or you could do a different state where you do home cleaning here and then you do home cleaning in state B. You could also do my store location, which if you go ahead and put stores in here would work the same way. You have store 1, 2, 3, and 4, unlimited amounts of stores that you could go ahead and set up. You could even do something like online store and put in your address, your home address, and then if someone clicks on it, excuse me, they'll go ahead and be informed that the store is an online store or something like that. So when they're booking packages for like your tutoring sessions or whatever, they could go ahead and do that worldwide based on that option. And this is basically where you would go ahead and set that up. So you could go ahead and have multiple of them. So let's go back. So for example, this one is already set up, which is the New York one, and you could go ahead and learn under different videos what primary, secondary zip codes are and all of that good stuff. So then here are a couple extra options where you could place in your keys where you want everything to perform. You won't be able to update if there's already bookings using this city or that zone or that store, whatever you have, this location here. You have to do all of this before you put in any bookings. And basically when you have those locations set up, now what you could do is go ahead and open up your providers and all of your spots. So let's start with the spots. If you have multiple zones or multiple locations, cities, stores, whatever you want to call it, they'll all show up here, and you need to create booking spots for every single one of them. So if someone is booking for city number 1, what are the booking spots that you allow there versus 2 versus city 2 or state, whatever it may be. You could set them all up the same. That's what we do actually for one of the companies here. And that's basically it here. Now when you go under the provider, now you get to pick which ones do they work. So under profile, you'll go to settings and you'll go under industry. And now when you are under the forms themselves, you'll go ahead and see all those locations. And here's where you activate. Does this provider work only location A, which the only one we had right now is New York. If there is another one that will be shown here, you can go ahead and uncheck that. If you have store locations, if you have both store locations and service areas, they will all be shown here, and you could uncheck which ones they work and which ones they don't. And then when you are setting up their working hours, you can go ahead and determine what time do they work, zone A, zone B, or location A, B, or store A, B, and then you could go ahead and choose from here. So if we had, let's say New York is our A location, we could go and do, let's say, in New York, let's say there would be neighboring cities, and this person is doing both of these cities. Okay, so they could service both of those customers from city A and city B. You could go ahead and say, okay, city A, Sundays, they're not working, which you wouldn't add any working hours. You would go ahead and close this down. so they would be empty. And if you go ahead and go to the other location, city B, you could go ahead and do certain working hours there, or you could do from location A that they work 8 to, let's say, 1, and then you could go to location B and say they work from 2 to 6 p.m. or something like that. And this is where you would set all of this stuff up as well under the provider themselves. Okay, so hopefully this is more clear now of how you could go ahead and set all that up. If you have any questions, please let us know.